Hello, I am back here on YouTube again today to talk to you about some comments. I'm going to do a comment video. I'm going to read some comments and respond to them verbally. So let's get started. First comment. Have you taken a look at Socionics Model G before? I agree with another commenter that suggests looking at INTP. I don't have an exact rationale for why. Just have a feeling it fits you better. I might be wrong. So the first thing is that I'm not an INTP because pretty much every video that I've ever made has a lot to do with introverted intuition. And I think I've done a pretty good job of explaining how I use that in my everyday life. And so I've done, like, my first 3 videos were just on introverted intuition, and I've shown examples of how I've used it in other areas of my life and in my artwork even now, and in many other ways. And I think I've done a very thorough job of explaining my usage of that cognitive function and how it's a strong preference. And INTPs use auxiliary extroverted intuition. So I don't see how it could possibly be an INTP. Socionics Model G, I have no idea what that is. I think I took a test that may have been Socionics. It said something about Socionics. I'm not really sure if it was or not, though. But the questions were really hard to answer because I didn't really understand what they were talking about. Like, the questions weren't worded very intelligently. Well, they were worded too intelligently. I didn't really understand what they were asking, so I couldn't respond very accurately. So I don't really trust that at all. I don't know what Model G is, so I don't really know. But I'm definitely not an INTP. I know that because I don't use extroverted intuition. So the next comment: would you be able, LOL. I think that's trying to say, would you be able to look at the way I write and guess my type? I never try to type people through writing, ever, because it's way too easy to fake who you are, to project a different personality on yourself. So I never use writing to type people, although you can certainly see certain cognitive functions in writing. It's very easy to pick out introverted thinking in writing. It's very easy to pick out introverted intuition in writing sometimes, just because the way people think oftentimes has a very major impact on the way that they write. So, but it's just so easy to change who you are when you're writing. So I don't use that to actually type people, although I can pick out cognitive functions. Next comment: can you help me type myself? I don't offer that service. I'm not qualified to do that, although I can tell you whether or not you're an INFJ. Next comment: you are an istp. I hate the way you see the world. Okay. I don't really know what how this has anything to do with the way I see the world, but I'm sorry. And I'll go into the istp thing later. Next comment: I think so many people want to be rare and special without realizing all the bad parts to being this way. Always behind a window with others, never having deep romantic relationships, lots of moments of spacing out during conversations which end up causing issues in friendships. So the first part of that, so many people want to be rare and special without realizing all the bad parts to being this way. I don't think people want to be rare and special because they want to inherit the bad parts about being special. They just want the benefits. But INFJ personality is rare, but that doesn't mean it's special. I mean, it's not any better than any other type. The MBTI, Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, is a horizontal system. It's a horizontal type indicator. No one type is better than the other. It's an equilibrium. One person might be better in this area than another person, but no type has more strengths than another type. We just have strengths in different areas, that's all. So no type is more special than the other. Although INFJ is said to be the rarest, and I do believe people who say that. Always behind a window with others. I guess that's talking about the shell, the INFJ shell. Never being able to truly express your true, genuine feelings. I think that's true with a lot of people, though, although possibly most with INFJ. So, okay, never having deep romantic relationships. I don't know where that comes from, because I think INFJs are capable of the most romantic relationships. I don't think that makes you less romantic. Although an INFP is probably more romantic in a relationship, but I think everybody has their own idea of romantic relationship. I mean, an ESTP's idea of a romantic relationship to him is just as good as the INFJ's idea of a good romantic relationship. If you want to have a good romantic relationship, the reason you don't have the romantic relationship you want isn't because of your type. It's because you're just not utilizing your functions right. You need to utilize your functions to get to the point where you can have the kind of relationship you want. You shouldn't. Cognitive functions, neural wiring, is not an excuse to have a bad romantic relationship. Lots of moments of spacing out during conversations. I don't really do that too much unless I'm thinking really hard about something, which end up causing issues in friendships. Okay. So the next comment: you can't tell a person's type with a few seconds of observation on their speech and facial movements. I think this was on the You Are Not an INFJ video. Do you understand the theory behind MBTI? It has nothing at all to do with how you speak or move your face. Okay, so the last part of that, MBTI has nothing to do with how you speak or move your face. That is completely true. Carl Jung didn't write about the way people speak and move their face. That's not typology. That's not the core of what MBTI is. But you can use these things to identify certain types. You can use these things to say, okay, this person's this type and that person's that type. It can be used as a way of seeing below the surface. The first part of that, you can't tell a person's type with a few seconds of observation on their speech and facial movements. I would disagree. I mean, I don't know all the types yet. I think I know INFP, and I do know INFJ. I can tell whether or not you're an INFJ within a few seconds, because I know that speech pattern. I know that tonality pattern. I can tell. I just know, because it's pattern. It's pattern recognition. If you're not an INFJ, and if it's obvious, I can tell through your speech and facial movements that you're not an INFJ. But I can't tell your type. I don't know what type you are. I just know that you're not an INFJ. Next comment: simple aesthetics. Camera view wasn't the most appealing. So my angle right now, my face is washed out as usual by the sunlight. There's nothing I can do about this because, as I've said before, this is a very crappy sensor, but looks like my headroom is right where it needs to be. and although this aspect ratio isn't the best, it's about as good as I can make it. And the background is much darker than the foreground, which is good. But there's not a lot of color in it because the sensor, again, is crap. So this is about the best I can do. I know that it is eye level, so it's the best I can do. And this is a webcam. This isn't a real camera. It's not a DSLR, but I'm doing the best I can with the tools that I have. So next comment: an INFJ, or whatever you want to call that type of personality energy that you have chosen for your current lifetime, would rather connect people instead of dividing them. Help people in positive ways instead of spreading negative energy and judging harshly. So, first part of that says that, essentially says that what I'm doing is I'm dividing people. I do agree with part of that. I mean, I'm not dividing people. I'm telling people, and I'm assuming that this is talk. I don't remember what video this was on because I have it on a Word document, but I'm pretty sure that's from the "You Are Not an INFJ" video. That's not dividing people, I don't think. It's telling people that, okay, these people over here are telling you that they are INFJs when they're really not. We have free speech. I'm allowed to say that, and I gave my reasons, and I had some pretty good reasons, I thought, and I showed people that I did my best job, the best job I could to show people that I am an INFJ myself. So I think I mean, that's not dividing people, expressing your opinion about this person is spreading misinformation. It's not a bad thing to say, okay, these people over here are telling lies. That's not a bad thing. That's not dividing people. That's sharing your version of the truth, or what you think is the truth. So the other part of that, help people in positive ways instead of spreading negative energy and judging harshly. I am trying to help people. It might not look that way, but I am. I'm trying to show people that this is an actual INFJ. I don't want people to think that an INFJ actually looks like Eric Thor. I don't want people to think that an actual INFJ looks like Face, because that's not the truth. That's not what the INFJ actually looks like. And I'm trying to help people by showing them that these other people aren't INFJs, giving them better information. And the even more important thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it seem okay for people to actually go onto other people's YouTube channels and comment things like, "You are not an INFJ," or "You are not an ENFP. You are not the type that you say you are. We need to debate this. We need to discuss this." What was going on the other videos, on the other channels, was somebody would say something like that, and the person who made the video would never really address the topic, and they would just kind of dismiss it, and they wouldn't really talk about it. Or if they did talk about it, it was only for like 10 seconds or so. They were never open to that debate. It was never okay to go onto somebody's channel and say, well, it was okay, but the person who made the video would never actually debate with people whether or not what they were saying was true. They just put whatever they wanted to put out there, and they're not responsible for it. They don't take the responsibility to make sure that they're doing everything they can to ensure that they're putting out accurate information for people. And it doesn't matter if it makes you feel bad, if what you're saying is wrong. If you're putting information out there that you like, that you personally like, and that you think is a good representation of yourself, and that you think is true to yourself, but it's wrong and other people think it's wrong, and someone says that it's wrong, you need to fix that. It's not all about you. I mean, it needs to be the truth. It needs to be, people need to be able to tell you that you're wrong. And I want people to be able to debate those kind of things. And a lot of that's going on my channel because what I did worked. I put that thing in there. I showed people, okay, this is okay now. We can discuss this kind of thing. If you have a strong opinion about someone not being another type, it's okay to express those opinions. And I'm not shutting down people who do that to me. I want them to do that because that's good. That's conversation. That's debate. It's the way it should work. Now, a lot of people have said that I'm an ISTP, and a lot of people have said that I'm INTJ and INTP. I think one person said I'm INFP. So I'll kill INFP and INTP with the extroverted intuition. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't use an E. It's very obvious. Just look at the first 3 videos. Look at the past 2 that I made. Look at really any video and you'll see introverted intuition in it. Very strong preference. So I can't be INFP, I can't be INTP because of that. And the other one, ISTP and ISTP and INTJ. I think it's pretty clear that I use extroverted feeling and introverted feeling. Introverted feeling is pretty clear just by looking at the way I write, like my descriptions and the way I debate people. If you understand what introverted thinking looks like in writing and the way it looks like in someone's presentation style, you would see that I have very strong introverted thinking. If you understand what it looks like, you can see that in the way I write very clearly. Okay, and ISTP. Lots of people have said that I'm ISTP. There's lots of reasons why I don't think that I'm an ISTP. Mainly, well, let's start with the P versus J. I'm not a P because I don't know. I'll put something about this in the description. I'm not gonna talk about this anymore right now. I'm definitely an N. I definitely have dominant introverted intuition. I don't see how that could not be the case because it's such a strong preference. I like using introverted thinking, but it's far from being the one that I like using the most. It's far from being the one that I use the most. Well, I don't use it the most, but I use extroverted feeling the most, regardless of whether or not I actually emote like a true FE user. I don't use introverted intuition the most. Like, I don't introverted intuition doesn't come out as much as extroverted feeling does. But introverted thinking I don't use introverted thinking very often. I only use it when I need to, and I don't prefer that. I don't like introverted thinking because it's too bland. It's not doesn't leave room for a lot of possibilities. It's not very imaginative. It's not very creative. So I'll put something about that in the description. And I've already talked about it a lot in the comments myself. Next comment, using subconscious thought or in the subconscious mind, things go pretty fast, and actually almost everything that comes to mind or the action we're about to take was first made certain by our subconscious. I think what this is trying to say is that every decision you make is first decided or pointed in some direction by your subconscious. I'm not really sure what the point here is. I think it's trying to say how introverted intuition can be fast sometimes. So there's two different sides of introverted intuition. There's the fast side and there's the slow side. So you can see introverted intuition working over the course of your entire life, or over the course of an entire month or day or time period of your life. And you can also see it working from moment to moment. So that there's a long drawn out side of introverted intuition, and there's a short side of it. The instance of introverted intuition that works faster, that's lightning, that just gives you answers right off the bat quickly, is the kind that isn't quite as accurate, because it's acting quicker. That's like the kind of thing that tells you whether or not someone's lying. That's the kind of introverted intuition you're using there, because that just tells you in an instant that person's lying, because that's just how introverted intuition works. And then you go to the other form of introverted intuition that you see working in your entire life, in your worldview, and just general broader aspects of your life that you can see changing you through longer periods of time. Next comment. According to the Enneagram instinctual variance theory, do you primarily relate to the self-preservation, sexual, or social instinctual variant, and why? By the way, I am a sexual self-preservation subtype. I'm an Enneagram 1. That should be pretty clear from my "You Are Not an INFJ" video. I don't know what there's a thing that people do. They say they're a 1W something. I think it stands for wing. I don't know what my wing is. I don't really care either, because if you're not even 100% positive that you have your MBTI right, I'm not going to waste time with like 3 different numbers that all mean the same different things. That's going too deep. There's too much room for error there. But I know I'm a 1. I know I'm an Enneagram 1. And I don't know what the rest of this stuff is. I don't know what the instinctual variance theory is. If someone wants to comment about that again, or if whoever wrote that wants to talk about that, and on the comments on this video, or send me a link or something. I've never heard of that. I don't think I've ever heard anyone else talk about that. Self-preservation, sexual, or social instinctual variant. I guess that's a type indicator that talks about whether or not you value self-preservation, sexual, or social instincts. I don't know. I've never heard of that. So let's go to the next comment. Bro, you can barely speak intelligently, and I'm pretty sure you're reading a script. While I guess that's supposed to be I'll admit you do bring up a few points to think upon, it's hard for me to think of you as having any extroverted qualities. You seem awkward and shy, and as such have already displayed 2 characteristics that contradict INFJ. So awkward and shy is actually a characteristic of the INFJ, and a less developed INFJ. In certain situations I can be awkward and shy, but in others I'm not. And that in no way contradicts INFJ. I don't know where you got that from. I've never heard that anywhere else. In fact, I've heard the opposite. Now, INFJ certainly can be eloquent and can be formal and graceful and stuff, but like socially graceful. But they can certainly be awkward and shy as well, just like any other type. The rest of that, you can barely speak intelligently. I don't know, this person might be talking about my first video. I don't really know what he's talking about there. I mean, I do speak slowly usually, but when I know what I'm talking about, when my introverted thinking knows what it's talking about, when it's well developed, I think I can talk pretty fast. I'm not reading a script. I mean, I'm obviously not reading one now, but I never read a script, although I typically do have notes over here, but I don't read a script. Unless I'm like reading the questions, reading bullet points out of a page. Hard for me to think of you as having any extroverted qualities. I think everybody has extroverted qualities. Because you have 2 introverted functions and 2 extroverted functions. I don't really know where that's coming from because, I'm alone right now. Nobody's here, so I don't really know how I could represent or demonstrate extroverted qualities. It kind of tells me that this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about himself when you say things like that. And the last one, my goodness, you are so skilled at flaring your nostrils, you put Leonardo DiCaprio to shame. I didn't realize that I flare my nostrils until I started making these videos and people started commenting about it. I'm probably doing it right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I do that. I might have always done that. I might not have. I don't know. I only just now realized it because of these comments. I didn't know that Leonardo DiCaprio did it either. And I actually Googled it. When I saw that comment, I Googled it to see whether or not Leonardo DiCaprio does that, and I couldn't find anything, so I don't know where that's coming from. So, but that would be cool though if he did. So those are all the comments that I pulled right now. In 27 minutes. Okay. So, yeah, that's all the comments I have for right now that I'm going to read. Obviously there are more, but that's it for today's video. I don't really think that helped anyone, but keep commenting. I'll do my best to keep replying. If you want to debate me on my type, feel welcome to do so. You are welcome to do so. That's what I'm trying to encourage in the community right now. If you think someone's not the type that they say they are, and if you have good reasons, good logical reasons, say something. And if they hide your comment, or if they delete your comment, or whatever, or whatever, if they hide your comment, make a video about it. Kind of like I did. Make your voice heard. So, yeah, that's all I have for today. I'm not sure what videos I'm going to be making in the future. If you have suggestions, comment below. So, for the 3rd time, that's all I have for today. So, goodbye.